I want to talk to you today about an experience I had earlier this week. I went to the doctor's office to get my blood drawn, and as the nurse was drawing my blood, he had asked me, "Hey, are you on your way to work after this?" To which I responded, "Yeah, I'm on my way to the office after this." And he made a comment immediately saying, "Well, we've already made it through Monday. We've just got to get through the rest of the week." To which, without thinking, I immediately responded, "Well, you know what? I love what I do, so I'm super excited to get into work today." And as I got back in my car, I had this moment of like, wow, did you even hear how quickly you responded? How genuinely happy you were to go do the work that you do, and how different your response is than it would have been a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5, 10 years ago. And here's what I mean by that. In a different time in my life, he would have said, "We made it through Monday, just got to make it through the rest of the week." And I probably would have said, "Yeah, I know, like, it's going to be a long week. You're right, like, 4 more days. We got this." And as I realized how my story shifted, I started thinking about how many other people are still in that place of telling themselves the story, the case of the Mondays, if you will, right? Like, how many people are still stuck in this spot come Sunday afternoon where you start telling yourself, like, "Oh man, like, Monday's coming up, like, I don't want to do this again. Here we go again. Here comes Monday. I don't really want to go to work. I don't want to go do this." And you have all of a sudden this negative story that you're telling yourself around Mondays. And when we tell ourselves negative stories, what happens is we create a state of mind. And those negative stories then create negative emotions or a negative mindset of maybe annoyance or frustration, overwhelm, stress, anxiety. And we start to create this state based on the story we're telling ourselves, which then produces an action or an inaction. So in my example, when I used to have that, "Oh my gosh, like, here we go, it's Sunday at noon, my whole weekend's over, like, I gotta go back to work on Monday, like, this sucks, I don't wanna do this." I then created, right, that was my story I told myself about Monday and what I was currently doing. That was creating that negative, "Oh, this sucks, like, my weekend's over." That becomes my state of mind. I'm feeling overwhelmed, I've got a crazy week, I don't wanna do this again. And then that would either create an inaction where I would just stop and sit on the couch and feel sorry for myself, or I would start like feeling like I had to do stuff to prepare for the next day. And as I had to do the stuff to prepare, I wasn't enjoying it. And I found myself in that cycle for a long time. And I'm wondering right now as you're listening to this, are you like, "Yeah, oof, I'm there right now, Jackie," or "Yeah, I've been there before and I'm not anymore either, and it's great," right? And what happened? Like, how did that shift happen for me where I was so easily and effortlessly able to answer him the other day and say, "Oh my gosh, I love what I do. I'm like so excited. It doesn't matter what day of the week it is for me. I'm super happy." Well, I'll tell you, I got really clear on what my values were. I looked at career specifically and I asked myself, what's most important to me? I did a lot of release work, right? In the coaching field that I do, I release limiting beliefs, I release negative emotions, and then I got really clear on what's important to me when it comes to career. And I identified those values and what they mean to me and why they're important to me. And I was very easily able to see that if my career, if what I was doing was in alignment or not. And when I realized that it wasn't, I was able to work with a coach to develop a strategic plan to help me transition to where I wanted to be, which is owning my own coaching business, which is in full alignment with all of my career values, which is why it was so easy for me to answer that man back on Monday and say, "Oh my gosh, I'm like so excited to get to work. I love what I do." So I challenge you to think about that. Specifically with that specific example of how do you feel about Mondays or whenever the start of your new work week may be. What stories are you telling yourself? What state of mind does that produce for you? Do you get in action or do you get inactive and not do anything? Where are you in that? And if you're in that place where you're dreading it, sit down and start asking yourself what's important to me in career. And am I in alignment with my values? And if you need help with that, reach out to me. It's one of my favorite things to help people through, as I've experienced that transformation myself and I know how empowering that is. I'd love to connect. Now, you don't just tell yourself stories about Mondays. Take time to reflect today. What other stories are you telling yourself in other areas of your life? And are there any stories that you need to rewrite, because you have the power to do that? Are there any stories that you need to change so that your state of mind becomes more positive and you create actions moving you towards where you want to be? Take some time to reflect today. Rewrite any stories that you need to rewrite. And if you have any questions about values, reach out to me.